So I'm having another kid. My wife is almost 19 weeks pregnant. And I haven't really talked about it much on the channel, but I decided today I'm going to talk about it. So we're going to find out whether or not, or what the sex of the baby is in a few weeks here. And we're definitely going to find out. And for those of you who've been watching, you already know I have a girl, a 3-year-old, almost 4-year-old girl. And raising a girl is, it can be difficult, but so is raising a boy. I mean, raising kids is hard already. But I've been thinking a lot about what it would be like if we had a boy. And because I'm the only guy in my house. For those of you who don't know, we got dogs, I got a wife, I got a daughter. Every living thing in my house is female other than me. And I just sort of gotten used to the idea that I'll probably just have girls. And but who knows? We'll see. Part of the reason I think that the idea of having a boy sounds more daunting to me is because as a young man myself, I already understand there's different expectations that the world has on girls versus boys, and obviously girls are going to have their own struggles, but the world has reached a point where they care about women's struggles. We talk about guys and boys a lot differently. And, you could have your own opinion on that if you think, I'm sure someone in the comments would be like, women just have it worse. Oh, okay, I'm not going to argue with you. Fine. What I'm saying is, with the lack of fathers already, it's very difficult to raise a boy to be a man that can be a productive member of society. And you need a father to do that, like a strong father. And the problem is, a lot of boys that have become men today didn't grow up with fathers, and quite honestly, I'm one of them. I grew up with the first however many years of my life without a dad. Now, my later years, I've had a very amazing dad and great father figure. But like I've said in previous videos, there's a lot of things I had to learn on my own, and still am learning about what it's going to mean to be a man and what kind of man I want to be. So raising a boy when you're still figuring that out yourself is different, especially when, as a boy, you got to figure that shit out quick. There's lots of safety nets and things that are just not afforded specifically to men. So you're expected to figure it out. If you have a hard childhood as a boy, and you say, that's the reason I'm a bum, that's the reason I can't get my shit together, nobody really cares. Nobody gives a shit if you are a boy who is struggling. Nobody cares about that shit, man. Nobody. And I'm not saying I'm gonna have a boy who's just struggling out here. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you have to move a little bit differently, and honestly, boys got to be raised different. That's all it is. So I've been thinking about that a lot, and what my role in that would be. And it's a shame that a lot of fathers have not been there to raise their kids for whatever reason. Mostly because they didn't want to. That's on them. But anyway, I'm just grateful that I'm in a position that, me and my wife can share those responsibilities and, play our role in a way that's the most healthy for whatever child we have. So, yeah, anyway, for those of you who are parents, let me know what you think. Which one for you was harder? Was it harder raising a boy or a girl? And why for you? And tell me whether or not you're a man or a woman and which one was harder for you. And do you recognize that there are roles that each parent sort of plays? And do you think a mother can play a father's role and a father can play a mother's role? I'm just curious what people think about that. Because that's what's been on my mind a lot, because as we get closer, it becomes more and more of a reality that I'm going to have more than one child. So, all right, that's all I wanted to say. I'll talk to you later.